All right, let's get right into it here. Market is down about 0.6% on the S&P. Nasdaq's down. Semiconductor is also down. However, as you can see, small caps up, biotech up, retail is also up. Apple is green today along with the Tesla. Looks like Bitcoin is up. Some of these miners are down. Gold, silver, pretty much down here. Let's stick with S&P 500 ETF. Spider! 65-minute chart here. So this is where we closed yesterday. And as you can see, we actually started a down gap this morning here. The problem with this down gap today is because bears have already established the first down gap here a couple days ago. As you can see, that down gap was never filled. Right? So we have secondary down gap on top of this down gap. Bears are really building this thing right now. This down gap at 530. They're building, reconstructing Boss Bear Command Center. Boss Bear has came down and residing in this vicinity, and they start to expand their troops here. So with this secondary down gap, things are looking more hectic here for the buyers because bulls are gathering weapons.
Oh no.
Bulls trying to make, you see that's the first hour gap down right here. Came down. Second hour, we came down even lower. Found some support. Second hour, third hour, fourth hour. But what happened was the previous resistance or previous support, acting as resistance, coinciding with the down gap area. Very much same scenario as yesterday's price action where the gap area acted as resistance. But as you can see, instead of holding throughout the day today, we actually quickly, it was lost, rejected on the fourth hour. You see the fifth hour candle here, and then sixth hour follow through. And the last hour move was pretty ugly, as you can see, long lower. So at one point, the last hour candle looked like that. You see, right? But what happened? Well, we have the double team effort here from the buyers. We got my long-term moving average and this is not a mistake. This is not a coincidence. This is not a random occurrence. When the bulls brought it up, they made sure we close above, you see, just above the midterm moving average there because bulls want another chance tomorrow.
Perfect.
Because technically, we're above the midterm and we're above the long term. You see the midterm and long term coming up here. Once it was reclaimed, you see what the bulls have done. And once the micro term was lost, short term, boom, micro term act as resistance, boom, short term support, boom, gap area, resistance, boom, midterm, short term acting as resistance, boom, the long term and the midterm. You see?
Huh?
But I suspect because the degree of this candle here, if bulls cannot make a run very, very quickly and keep this midterm going, and if we lose midterm, maybe with another down gap or something like that, such as this or that, we see another down gap. If we even lose the midterm and the long term tomorrow, we're going to 517.95. That's previous swing high here and here. And that's where my first level of fit is residing. See? 517, 518. But I think what bears are really eyeing on are these up gaps. See? 513 and 510 or so.
Huh?
So check out that oscillator. oscillator has entered into the overbought zone here, but it's not in the extreme overbought zone yet. That's the extreme overbought or oversold. And with the oscillator lower highs, there's a lot of pressure here. You see, even if bulls can cross that up for a day or so, you cannot guarantee that that's going to be a full cross, because you see how bulls trying to cross it up several times and met with lower highs. So even if we see some sort of a bounce tomorrow, you see the short term coming down and micro term coming down, that could act as a resistance and fall lower, and that oscillator will just come right back down to the extreme oversold level. So this is kind of a awkward level for the buyers here in this vicinity, because we are in this vicinity, potential support levels here, the midterm and the long term. Oscillator knows that it's just getting ready to like curl back up very, very quickly here.
Perfect.
We see any kind of bullish up move tomorrow, first 2 hours, that oscillator is going to get right back up. But then again, we got the resistance coming with the lower highs here. And we don't know if that's going to turn into full-blown reversal, because we're not at extreme oversold. So here's what I propose. This is very, very important, right? We see a down gap below the long term, which is currently traveling at what? 521. We see another down gap. And that's going to be a problem if bulls cannot fill that down gap. So bulls cannot afford another. Bulls already dealing with hard time with these two down gaps. Boss bears already reconstructing their boss bear command center. So see another down gap below the midterm, long term, and that down gap is sustained. We're coming down to 518, worst case near 513, and their bulls going to try to attack these two up gaps. If bulls see any kind of upside move tomorrow, you see where my short term is, you see where my micro term is, right? Short term currently traveling at where? And it's gonna look a little different tomorrow, because as we see a movement, the short term is gonna travel a little bit lower. But 525.35 today at close, that's a short term, 526.90. So I mean, all bulls gotta really take it day by day. If we do see a support on the midterm and the long term, gotta go up and retest the short term. And I think bulls' first objective is to kill this, neutralize the threat from this secondary down gap that opened this morning. Fill that gap first. But once that gap gets filled, let's just say it's going to act as resistance, micro terms to come down. You see how micro term been acting as resistance this entire 2 day. You see that. So that micro term is a diehard fan for the Bears here. And it does have a pretty impressive resume that it does not like the Bulls. So once we go up and fill the gap, the micro term is going to come down, push it back down. You see? There's a lot that needs to happen before the trend can be shifted. We do want to give benefit of the doubt to the sellers in the micro short term. I'll say looking at the 65-minute time, around midterm or so, we're sort of in the neutral phase. We're right on the midterm and long-term moving average, but we don't have any evidence we're gonna see any. We don't have any reversal candles or nothing. We might have a better idea tomorrow after close. I'm gonna come back for you. We'll reassess the situation in jury evening look for tomorrow.